Hey friends, Betty Smoot Madison here. 31 Days to Wise is the series. Day 20 is the message that we're on. Day 20, and the message is paybacks and comebacks. Paybacks and comebacks. All right, so today's message is based on chapter 20, verse 22, which says, "Do not say, I'll pay you back for this wrong. Wait for the Lord and he will deliver you." So basically, don't bother with the payback. Wait for God's comeback. God's comeback will be much sweeter. You know how they say revenge is sweet? God's comeback will be much sweeter than anything that you could have ever thought of doing as a payback. Let God handle it. Let God handle it. The payback will always cost you something, or it could cost you everything. You seeking to get back at someone requires you to go into this dark place. It requires you to emotionally go into a dark place and mentally, because you're trying to think of, what can I do to get back at them? What can I do to get back at them? They're not going to get away with this. So it requires you to go into a dark place. Nothing good ever comes out of going into a dark place. Nothing. Unless you are going there to meet God. Unless you are going there to meet God. Nothing else good is going to come from going into a dark place. Think about it. Seeking revenge, seeking payback, it stirs up a lot of negative emotions. It stirs up anger. It stirs up hate. And studies show that negative emotions, such as anger, hate, revenge, have a variety of symptoms, such as headaches, backaches, ulcers, nausea, high blood pressure, heart attacks, cancers. What kind of payback is that? What kind of payback is it if I'm creating sickness within myself? That's not revenge on the other person. If me thinking about a payback for something you did wrong to me creates all these health issues, I'm sorry. No. People who are holding on to past hurts, things that have been done wrong to them, and it could be something, recent. It could be something from last week, yesterday. It could be something from 5 years ago. It could be something from your childhood that you're holding on to, that you have not healed from. And those hurts are creating all kind of health issues within you. And don't get me wrong, I understand the level of hurt, because wrongness comes in at so many varying levels. There's the petty wrongness, there's the wrongness, like you cut me off on the highway wrong. And that stirs up some emotions, right? When somebody cut you off on the highway, you immediately want to go cut them off. And you can't even do that today. You can't do that today without it leading to you being shot. It's not worth it. It's not losing your life over something someone else has done. It's not worth it. It costs you more to think of a comeback. It costs you way more than it will cost them. Chapter 20, verse 28 says, "Love, mercy, and truth preserves the king, and his throne is upheld by mercy." So because you extend love, mercy, and truth, your position, your place will always be upheld with the same things: love, mercy, and truth. God will always deal with the wrongdoer. The person that has wronged you, God will deal with them. It's not our place to figure out what level of justice is warranted for them. It's not our place to determine what needs to happen to them because of what they did to us. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. God's comeback will be much sweeter than anything I can think of. And God's comeback can look a couple of different ways. It can look like a couple of different things. God's comeback can look like transformation for them. God's comeback can, for the person that has wronged you, God's comeback can look like transformation because they were convicted about their wrongness. Maybe when they did you wrong, they were convicted, or they went through a process of healing because they recognized what they did, right? And so they sought healing, they sought transformation. And that's fine. That's what you want. You should. That's what you should want. If someone has wronged me, I would rather them be convicted about it and transform and change rather than stay the same and never change and never acknowledge their wrong. So that's what you want to happen. And in those cases, God will extend the same grace and mercy and forgiveness that he extends to us when we wrong. Right? Because we are wrong sometimes too. It ain't always everybody else that's wrong. We wrong sometimes too. So the same grace that God extends to us in our wrongness, he could very well extend to them in their wrongness. Now, for the prideful people who have wronged you, because we know there's a lot of those, right? There's a lot of people who just go around doing wrong and they don't think twice about it. Again, it's for God to deal with that person. Eventually, God will settle the score. Eventually, God will settle the score. You carry on with your life. Uphold your place and uphold your position. Release them, release that person to God. That means you have to go to God and say, God, I need to be released and freed from this person because they are literally eating me up from the inside out. The wrong they did to me is eating me alive. And I need to heal from this. I need to release them from my spirit. I need to release them from my spirit. I need to release them from my mind. I need to release them from my emotions. I need to heal. And if a part of my healing is forgiveness, I forgive them. I forgive them for what they did to me. And I pray that you, God, will settle the score. And guess what? He will. God will settle the score. All right? So nothing can beat God's comeback. And in those cases where that person is not acknowledging of their wrong, God may even extend recompense to you. He may say, you know what, for your troubles, I'm giving you extra. I'm extending favor to you because you had to deal with that person. You had to deal with this. Now, God ain't gonna do that if we keep inviting wrongdoers into our lives. If we keep dating the same type of person. and they keep wronging us, God is not going to keep recompensing you for your foolish decisions. He's not going to, his comeback is not going to be, I'm blessing you for continuously making foolish decisions. But if it is truly a situation where our hearts were pure, our mind was sound, and we were wronged, where it's situations where we are innocent and they were wrong, God may very well be willing to recompense you for your loss and your troubles. For your troubles. So again, paybacks and comebacks. Don't bother with the paybacks. It ain't worth it. But for sure, God's comebacks are worth it. They are sweet in the end. All you have to do is just watch on the sidelines. That's how God's comebacks, because you won't have to lift a finger. You won't have to do anything. You won't have to go into that dark place. You won't have to be troubled. You won't have to go to jail. You won't have to lose anything. You will not lose everything, and you won't lose anything if you wait for God's comeback. All right. That's day 20, y'all. Day 20. We got 11 days to go. We are like literally on the, we're over the hill right now. I'm so excited that y'all have stuck with me this long. And I pray that you are being tremendously blessed and that your life is actually changing in a positive way from listening to this series. So continue to stay tuned. 11 more days to go. I'm excited. Thank y'all. See you back here tomorrow for 31 Days to Wise. Bye.